some, but.
Oh, yes, I've still kept a few. I mean, I've kept some really, really things that were very close to me, but otherwise, hey, Gwen.
Yeah, my mom's got a bunch of stuff that she keeps for us, and she keeps saying she's going to bring it over to me. It's like, Mom, you might as well get rid of it. If I haven't used it since then, I don't need it now.
Well, and my dad, he was terrible. He'd say, I said, Dad, don't you think it's time we started cleaning out the house a little bit? No, I'm going to leave it for the next person. And I am the next person. And don't you know, they left the house and all the stuff.
Let me tell you, I will be the next person, I'm sure, because my brother's in Cincinnati. So it'll be me.
Yep, it was me.
I say, get rid of it now.
That's right. You make the decision. Don't make me make the decision of what to put in the trash.
That's right. Hey, we better watch out. We're live on YouTube.
We are. Oh, we are. Hello, YouTube. Hi, Tanya. Hi, Gwen. You got your volume on, Gwen? She's just looking at us.
Can you hear us, Gwen? I think she's frozen. There she is.
There she is. I don't know.
She's probably trying to call in.
Oh, yeah. There's her phone. She's got her phone on her ear. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong?
Yeah. I just keep the earplugs in so you can't hear all the background noise that might be going on. Or so they can't hear all the background noise that they would be so interested in.
I know.
Let me tell you.
So interested in.
Especially since this is the day we get to listen to Tanya's report. They'll be dying to get that information.
I know. And I always understand every word she says. Not.
Yeah. You and me both.
Yeah.
Okay, Carol, I'll keep it brief.
Oh, you're never you don't talk over long. It's just sometimes I look at that sheet and I go, what?
Yeah.
I spent how much? Okay. For what?
I know. That's the hardest part, is to just understand how much it really does cost.
Right.
Yeah. For everything. Yeah. Oh, there's Michael.
Hello. Hello.
Hi, Mike.
Hi.
I have to tilt my screen down. For some reason, my camera is so high.
What's that, Tanya?
I said, Gwen just put up a note that says I have no sound at all.
Uh-oh.
I don't know whether that means she can't hear us or she can't talk to us.
I would imagine she's not been responding like she can hear us. So it's probably both. Does somebody have her number? I can try and walk her through it while you guys get different stuff.
Well, I think Eric's on here with us, so I would defer. Oh, wait, it says connecting to audio. Maybe
there we go. You get it?
I just found another button to claim in on.
There she is. Hi, Gwen.
I got something.
Good job, Gwen. I'm here if you need me.
Eric, jump in and fix that real fast.
I didn't know if you could read my sign or not that said I have no audio.
Oh, okay. Gwen, you're going to become an expert at this, you know.
Yeah, and hopefully not to ever use it again.
Oh, Gwen. You got grandkids. You're going to have to use it.
Yeah, really.
And where are they when you need them?
Well, never around when you need them. Never around when you need them.
Right.
Who are we waiting for, Mike?
Madonna and Mike.
Brooke, wait a minute. Somebody's connecting. There's
There's
Mike.
There's Mike.
Yeah.
There's Michael connecting to audio, he says.
And I swear it's Coke only. There's nothing in it. So when you see me drinking, it's Coke only.
Me too. I have
Good.
Coke. Hi, Mike.
Hey,
Hello,
Mike.
can you hear me?
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
We're good.
Fine.
How's everybody doing?
Fantastic.
Fine.
Good. How's the garage sale going, Carol?
Yep. We closed her down. We're done today. We did the Wednesday and Thursday.
Okay.
Yesterday was very successful. I was surprised. I really wasn't sure what we would see.
Sure.
But yesterday was very successful. And even today, I mean, we didn't have very many come through today, but I think I still sold $50 worth. We sold over $300 yesterday.
Oh, good.
Of
Well,
just stuff.
in your neighborhood, Carol, they kind of expect that to happen. You know, the garage sales come. There's a lot of people in that, normally in the big building. That
Oh, didn't have it here. No.
they move out of the houses into the big building.
Oh, no, we wouldn't have anything like that here right now. We're still not supposed to have anybody come into our houses.
Well,
Really?
I mean, like workmen, stuff kind of thing.
Mm.
Hi, Madonna. Hi, Madonna. Can you hear me?
Oh, sound.
there you go, Eric.
Can you tune Madonna in?
I don't even know if she can hear us.
I don't think so. I think she can see us, but I don't think she can. Madonna? Can you hear? Sitting there just kind of looking.
I even fed my cats ahead of time so they shut up and didn't scream through this.
Oh, I don't know. That might give us a little extra something to look forward to.
One of them's part Siamese. Trust me, you don't want to.
Okay.
And he thinks the louder he screams, the sooner he gets it.
Ah, he talks a lot, does he?
Yes. And
Ah.
5 o'clock is the time span. So
And
he
fi-
starts in at 3.
Let's make sure. Okay, lost Madonna.
I'm back. Am I not there?
Oh, hi, there you are.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hi, Madonna.
Hi.
I was having trouble getting on and I figured it out again.
Good.
I don't know.
Okay. Are we all together?
I think we're ready to go.
All right. I will call this meeting to order. And may I have the roll call, please?
Boyer,
Present.
Russ,
Here.
Geisman is absent. Neff is also absent. Tinkle
Yes.
and Winter
Yes.
and Zecker is absent.
Okay. I'll go ahead and read the philosophy statement. The Darke County Board of Developmental Disabilities exists to help people live their best lives. We recognize that all people are valuable and have potential. The mission of our agency is to empower people with developmental disabilities to explore possibilities for their lives by maximizing independence, community participation, employment, and economic self-sufficiency in their daily life experiences. I don't see any unknown faces on here, so I guess we have no guests. Did everybody get a chance to look over the agenda?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Mike, there's nothing to add? B. Secker?
No.
Okay. All right. May I have
Motion to approve.
Okay, thank you. Second, please.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, motion passed. Minutes from the last meeting. I just read over those. I didn't see anything. Anybody else?
They
Motion
look
to
good
approve.
me.
Okay,
Second. They look good.
thank you. Any other discussion? We'll just call those all in favor. Aye, and it passed. Okay. Financial report, ratify payment of bills for May 2020. Take it away, Miss Tanya.
Well, in your packet, you have the May financial report. I will note that we did receive some additional levy dollars that was anticipated to come in the month of May. Those are our what used to be called rollback dollars. So all of those came in as anticipated and pretty much on schedule with what we thought they would be. We did do the final transfer to the for the Targeted Opportunities Grant to get that fund all paid out, and everything was paid for that project by the May 15th deadline for the grant guidelines. So they were holding on the check, actually giving the final check to Westerheide for that project because the project itself got held up due to the COVID and everything. So we're like 98% finished. But they printed the final checks. So on the financial reports, everything showed as paid, but they're holding on to the check. So those were the only things that I had to highlight, unless anybody has any questions about anything.
Ooh, that was quick. Any
Hope I didn't
other?
confuse you, Carol.
Thanks, Tanya. Now I can just look at all these figures and go, yeah. May I have a motion, please, to ratify this bills?
I'll make a
Motion.
motion.
Oh.
Second.
We have a motion from Mike and a second from Madonna.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion on that? Any disagreement on that? Motion passed. Action items, on to L&M contract with the Roundhouse.
These are the contracts we talked about at last board meeting. The first one is with L&M, and it's the Roundhouse project at the park that we had last year. So it's basically the same contract with a not to exceed of $17,500. I need approval of that contract.
Everybody get a chance to look that over. Are there any questions? I think, Mike, this is very similar to last year, right?
Correct.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Thank you. And a second, please.
Second.
Donna? Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed. Second, the LEAD program.
Again, this is the summer program with LEAD, working with CA Group. So LEAD is Leadership, Exploration, and Development. So we did this last year. So it's a very similar contract, and this would be a not to exceed $10,848. I probably could mention both of these programs are paid for out of the Gifts and Bequest Fund. Just it's not the general fund, but the Gifts and Bequest is sort of a special pilot kind of program when we started them. So
Okay, that's nice to know. So it's not coming out of the general fund or general
Correct.
budget.
correct.
And from last year, how successful was the program?
It went very well last year. I think, Joseph, I think just a couple less participants this year. Isn't that correct at this point, at least?
I believe, I'm trying to go back through, by the end of last year, I think we lost one young man. But I think we had 5 last year and we have 4 this year.
Okay.
And this actually did start on Tuesday. So working out some of the kinks, it's going well.
Right.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, may I have a motion to approve the contract, please?
Motion.
Thank you, Mike. And a second, please.
I'll second.
Thank you, Madonna. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Greenville Transit System contract.
This is our annual contract with GTS. This would be a not to exceed $4,000. At least that's where we start with. This is usually utilized for some volunteer opportunities, but also could be for some work opportunities that wouldn't be paid for through non-medical transportation. So I think last year we used over $2,000 of this, or so far we have. So this would be July 1 contract that will go through June 30th of next year.
Is this mainly for inside Greenville?
Yes, I mean, they're pretty flexible in working with us on some things, but for the most part, it's inside. But they do have rates, if I remember correctly.
Yes,
I
they're in there.
think on the
Rates
very
are in there.
last page.
Are they in
how
there?
the fee structure is set up. So county trip rates have $1 per mile additional that's added on the very back.
There we go. I miss seeing that.
Yeah. So,
On there.
Because I know they get pretty expensive outside of Greenville.
yes, it generally does. Yes. Mhm.
Yeah, they like to stay within the city limits.
Mhm.
All right. Any other questions? May I hear a motion to approve the contract for transportation services?
I'll make the motion to accept the contract. for
Thank you.
transportation.
And a second, please.
second,
Thank you, Mike. All those in favor, please. Aye.
Aye.
aye,
Motion carried. The Corson Fire and Security,
Mhm.
little hiccup in the security system.
Yes, I think I mentioned last time, Tanya's been working on this. All of the strobes on the fire suppression system that's all linked together, they all have to be in sync with one another throughout the building. And there were issues with strobes going off at different points in time. So they thought maybe they could tweak a couple of things. It didn't cost very much and make it all work, update some older equipment and some of the older parts of the building that haven't been renovated. But that did not all work as we'd hoped. So to get all of that up to code, which the code just changed within the past year, so that's why all this is even an issue now. They would need to replace some equipment, and that would be $5,131. So that's over my spending authority. So I want to make sure the board.
Yeah. That's fire prevention stuff, codes and whatever. That's an expensive proposition, isn't it?
It is.
Have you- I've always been satisfied with their work any place we've had it. I actually have it right here in my own home and had it out at Dad's also, along with public buildings. How are you coming on your end? Are you satisfied? Are you okay with working with them?
Yeah, and I think they've done a really nice job over the years. That's who we've worked with for quite a long time with the alarm system, and they've always been good to work with and done nice work. We've been satisfied.
Okay, are you working with Rick out of Richmond or are you coming out of Indianapolis?
No, I think it's Richmond is where they're coming from. I don't know the people's names quite honestly, but
I
I'm
keep
sure
on here, okay. Yeah, he's good too. I don't have a problem with it because they've always done right by us.
okay.
Any other discussion? May I have a motion, please, to accept the fire and security contract?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. And a second, please.
I'll second.
second.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead, go ahead, Madonna.
I raised
All
my
those
hand.
in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and opposed. Motion carried. Thank you very much. Mike, I guess it's your time to tell us about COVID-19.
Oh my, well.
Yay!
How much time do you have? No, everything continues sort of where we were. I think when we met last time, I mentioned that in June, the offices are open by appointment, and we've had some appointments there at the office, and people are, just instructed as to how that's going to work when they arrive and wearing a mask and all the different things that we have going on. They sign in and they have to do sort of a medical review in advance before they come in to verify that they haven't been exposed to COVID, all those things. So, we continue on that path right now. We're going to meet again probably next week and talk about, okay, sort of what's July looking like, what's August looking like, and try to look at what our department is telling us we need to do. Try to align with local health department as well as what the state of Ohio is saying. So, we're just taking it slow, but I think things are still working well. I haven't heard any major concerns from families and how this is working. So I think that's, one of the main things. I know some of the day programs are starting back up. I think PCS is planning on starting back up on the 26th, I believe, of this month.
Correct.
But there are certain limitations as to how all of that can work. So right now, it's still a max of 10 staff and people supported in a group. But the way I understand it is PCS has 3 separate entrances and has separate restrooms. So they can actually do 3 groups of 10, again, including staff. So there's some different things going on. I think the transportation issue is a little sort of muddy as to how all of that works. There was some discussion about changing, the distance that people would need to be apart on transportation, certain vehicles, but I don't think that's going to happen. We sort of fought that a little bit in saying, look, it has to be 6 feet for everybody else. We don't want to say, well, people with developmental disabilities, it only needs to be 3, right? Because we want to be able to get them there. So we've been working with the providers trying to figure all that out, but that's the plan. Also, Union Crystal Manor, UCM. So that's a 40, I forget how many beds. It used to be 50 bed, but it's like 43 bed. Okay, 43 bed, 44. They do have COVID at that facility now. So I think there were, I don't remember the numbers exactly now, but maybe 20 some people that live there, 24, thank you, that live there that tested positive. And then there are 17 or 18 staff, I think, that tested positive also there.
Mike,
yes.
they were actually listed today on his little talk as a hotspot.
Okay, very good. I didn't
One
realize.
of 3, and all 3 are in the Miami Valley.
Okay. Didn't realize that. I didn't hear all that today. So just an awareness, we're trying to work with them. I know Joseph has been in touch. I was in touch with our State Department about it. We've also supplied them with some protective equipment. So we had some gowns, full gowns and things that they were in need of. So we're trying to work with them and provide some things like that to them just to help. So know that all those things are going on. We're trying to be aware, manage all of that, try to support and communicate with our State Department because they're very interested in what we're doing to support locally when this kind of thing happens. We still do not have any positive cases, at least not that I was aware of as of the end of the day yesterday, in any of the houses that we operate at this point in time. So we did have a staff member that tested positive, and I think maybe that was happening at our last board meeting. I don't remember now. That was at one of the houses, but none of the people living there ended up testing positive. So that was a good thing. So everybody's really trying to stay on top of this. And I think with our staff, many are still working from home, although our office staff, administrators, managers, IT, different people are back in the office. We're just wearing masks in common spaces, all those things that we need to be doing. And I think that's working overall. That's going well. I think we're all, yes.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to add to, I was on a call yesterday with it's kind of their crisis management team for the state of Ohio related to Crystal Manor. And I didn't catch that it was a hot spot today when I was listening to that, but the department, and there was the Department of Infectious Diseases, the Ohio Department of Health, DODD, us, our local department. There were probably 6 or 7 different, and DODD was very complimentary of our team and what we're doing locally. So I just thought that was kind of nice to hear. You don't often hear good stuff, but they were happy to hear that we were being creative in how we can help UCM with coping with this situation.
Yeah. I know one of the challenges there, not only with the PPE side of things, but that UCM has a day program that they operate, and that's ArtSense. Okay. So they were creative and they don't have their day program going. So they are utilizing some of the staff from ArtSense to come in to the facility there to try to provide support. So that's a good thing that they're able to do that. I know they had a couple of nurses, if I remember right, that tested positive there at UCM. So I think Angie was on the call and probably Joseph, and suggesting, working with comprehensive health and some of the people that we've worked with over the years, trying to get them plugged in to some people that might be able to come and to support them. So yeah, I think it sounds like it's been a nice team effort. And again, as I say, I hope I say it often enough, I've got great staff that are creative and try to think about, think outside the box a little bit as to how can we support providers, especially during this time. So again, we're taking it slow. And return to work, but we'll have those discussions. Things are going to look different, and that's just the reality of it. It's going to look different long term, but we'll have those discussions as we go as to what that might look like, and work with staff and see what's working. I just saw Joseph just sent me I think like a survey as to what's gone on across the state of Ohio with SSAs working remotely and what's worked well, what hasn't worked well. What are some sort of ideas that people are finding out work better than others, you know, all that kind of thing. So I'm going to take a look at that tomorrow and see what we can learn from that survey that the state did. So any questions about what we're doing COVID wise? Anything else?
Now, Gwen, where were the other two places?
I
Besides
don't
Crystal?
remember. One was
Okay.
down, they were down around, I want to say one was in Shelby, but I could be mistaken that. But they were all in Southwest Ohio.
Okay.
Because that was the remark he made, and the fact that traffic increase in Montgomery County has picked up, and there were several things, but these three were on the background. Because the one that caught my eye was UMC.
Crystal Manor, sure. Yeah, the one we would recognize, sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Are they still offering to, just in case, because if it picks up a heavier stance with the staff, is the offer still there in place that they're offering help from National Guard and that with nursing?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that response.
I think the National Guard is only doing the testing in the facilities. They're not providing any direct services.
Okay, because somewhere I was thinking back when this started, the governor had said that if necessary, they could move some of them in that were in the nursing capacity.
Gotcha.
So I don't know. I just, you know,
Yeah, it's
Well-
worth mentioning. So yeah, we can.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's a last case scenario because the last thing they need to see is a uniform in place.
Mhm.
So,
Well, I know after speaking with Christina, the two people that were missing, she was able to replace with two different nurses. So she will,
Good.
when the two that are positive, COVID positive come back, then she will have two additional on top that she will be
Okay.
able to utilize.
So they'll be able to rotate it through.
I think it's important to understand too, that the majority of the individuals at UCM are asymptomatic. So they're not,
Yeah.
they're in a quarantined unit, but they're not experiencing symptoms and that kind of thing. So the numbers skew that a bit. But you know, they still tested positive, but they're not showing the symptoms.
Most of the younger ones that I'm hearing are complaining of fatigue more than anything.
Mm.
And then how tired they are. Now that's what I'm hearing in the community.
Okay. All right. Mike,
Yes.
tell us how we can get some training, please.
Oh, she wants it
You
bad.
really want to know, Carol?
I'm so excited.
Well, Tanya and I talked about this a little bit, and Joseph also. You know, I think I mentioned last time we're going to do some recording, or if we can find good recordings on the department, you know, some videos and things on the department's website that are good. We may use some of those, but Tanya's going to work on some of the financial pieces and record that so that you just have it available, and we'll get those links to you. It's likely that'll take just a little bit of time. So I wouldn't look for something until mid to late July or maybe beginning of August. But I think we'll be able to get it all in without too much trouble, since it'll all be recorded and have access to that. And you can do that at your own convenience. And then again,
Okay.
at board meetings, we can touch base about them, you know, talk a little bit about them. Or if you have questions, you can always call me. I don't want it to be something that's just sort of filling time. I'd like for it to be beneficial. So, but we'll get those out to you. And we'll
Have
do it.
you rescheduled the MUI yet?
No.
Okay.
No.
Of course,
So-
all of us are just bouncing for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet so. But what we will do is we'll either, again, record something or find something that's already in place that you can actually view. Okay.
I can also get Jason to do that MUI training for just you, Gwen. He would love it.
That would just be lovely.
All
See,
right,
that's
well,
an easy one for me to skate through.
I thought maybe all that had been decided, but that's okay. I'll put my exuberance on hold.
Yes, there you go.
All right. what's going on with the renovations? And of course, the parking lot is why we're not there today.
Yeah, so I think Tanya mentioned, renovation wise, things are really wrapping up with that. I've had several calls and people with different ideas, trainings potentially for people that we support, people that are interested, speak up, stay safe, charting the life course. So I'm working on a lot of stuff. And again, the priority is for people with developmental disabilities to be able to utilize the space. Then I also had a call yesterday, I think it was, about the senior space. So I know there's interest. My sister told me she saw a post on Facebook or something that said, what's going on at the building out there on Jaysville? So probably need to do a refresh on some PR and kind of get a campaign kind of thing out there sometime soon. The bad thing is I don't know when in the world we're going to be able to open, right? And actually have larger crew kinds of things going on. So that's a little bit of a challenge there. My thinking still is it's likely at the very, very earliest, I would say is late summer, but I'm thinking more fall is probably, kind of keep your fingers crossed when we can start doing some trainings and have some events actually scheduled there. So in terms of the parking lot, yeah, that's why we're not meeting today in person. It's not because of the COVID thing, but the parking lot. So they needed a couple of days to actually get the paving done. They've been working on the crack seal, all that stuff, and grinding things and all that over the past several days. And they are thinking over the next couple of days, they'll have all of that paved and done. They just don't want anybody traveling on the surface for those couple of days. So that makes sense. So that's sort of where we're at this point in time. They do, I think they'll have it done next week is their goal, but by the end of June is when they for sure will have it done. Right, Tanya?
Well, it's actually done today.
Oh,
I drove by on my way home from Mercer today, and they were striping.
oh my.
So all of the paving is finished, and the striping is finished. The things that we won't have finished and that we'll wait a little bit is getting the tire stops back in place. They don't want to bring the skid steer out and on the fresh pavement. They want it to cure a little bit. And then we have to get with the Parks Department so they can put the bike trail lines and
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah.
Are you keeping the bike people off of that while they're doing it?
Well,
Trying.
it is. They're supposed to be. It's supposed to be posted on the Darke County Park site that it's
Okay.
closed. But I'm hoping a bicycle going through isn't going to hurt it too bad.
Let's
If
hope
that's the
not.
case. But they'll have blocks up at the end of the roads and stuff so that cars can't come in and park and go back the walking path. So, but yes, it looks nice. I drove by, I didn't stop and pull in because they were still there working, but it'll be excited to see. So yes, next week we'll be able to come back in and it will be all finished and
Good.
or for the most part finished and ready to go.
Right?
Thank you.
Mike, anything else on your end?
No, not in terms of discussion. There's personnel information, but
Yeah.
you see that Mary Baker, who has been an SSA, she worked on the employment side for a while, and then she went to be an SSA. And when our developmental specialist position came open in early intervention, she was very interested. And I don't remember how many applied for that, Tanya, do you? Several.
We interviewed 7 or 8,
Okay.
but we had probably 30 applicants.
Okay. So it was competitive and Mary did a really nice job. So she'll have some training and things that she needs to do, but she's going to move over to the DS position. And then Joseph's been working hard on, Joseph looks a little angry over that.
Now, in my defense, out of 7 or 8, she would have been the best candidate, in my opinion, and she will do a wonderful job, even though she's leaving me. Can you tell I did take a little bit of a vacation? I got over it.
Yeah.
And he's saying that because he'd have done anything to keep her on his end.
I would have, to be truly honest. I tried to get Mike to give me a pay raise for her, but he said,
And you tried to lie and they wouldn't believe you, right?
That's the truth, but no,
Oh.
she'll do good wherever she's at.
Good.
Happy
Yeah.
for her.
We'll have
Yeah.
several new staff starting in early July, new SSAs. So replacing Sierra, who left, and now Mary's moving over. And then we had some other SSAs in our planning process to get our caseloads under control and trying to project out transition students, coming in, all those things. So
Yeah.
you'll see all of that later on, what's happened with all of that. So.
Just keep your fingers crossed and say a little prayer for us with COVID-19, just the whole orientation and training. And Angie is on top of that and she's got it really going on, but it's just going to be a different environment. So
Right. For
it'll
sure.
be a challenge and we're ready for it though.
Of course you are.
Thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Anything else for the good of the order?
I was just gonna ask Joseph if he's using the liquid refreshment on the wall there behind him to get through the COVID.
This is the only place that I can sit and actually be able to see my monitor like this.
You're
But-
just teasing us.
But I am not going to answer that question because I believe this is live on YouTube.
I will attest, Mike, that those bottles appear to have been the same as when we first started our Zoom meetings back in March.
Oh, my.
So
Yeah.
unless he's like putting the caps back on them and putting them back on the shelf.
I wouldn't put that
I
past
don't
him.
know.
I know. Well, I will say that we are members of some wine clubs, so they do get moved around a little bit.
Gotcha. But not the same bottles. There
Hey,
you go.
maybe.
Yeah.
Rapidly replaced.
All right, our next meeting is scheduled for August the 20th at 4. Hopefully we'll be back out at the building. There is no meeting in July. Is that correct, Mike?
That's correct. Uh-huh.
Okay,
Oh,
well, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to
Motion.
adjourn.
Everybody jumped right in there. Okay, and I'll assume it's approved. Motion approved to adjourn the meeting. Sorry we couldn't get together today, but we'll see each other later this summer.
All right.
Thanks, Carol. Thanks,
Okay.
everybody.
Take care.
Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Madonna. Bye, Tanya. Bye, Gwen. Bye,
Bye.
Jojo.